When Donovan Mitchell left the Utah Jazz, he said he wanted to win. Cleveland's Don era has been going home early in the playoffs every year. This deadline, Cleveland goes big, but will it translate? Let's talk deadline on the NBA Economy Show. Hi, and welcome to the NBA Economy Show. We're definitely in the NBA deadline. It was slow going. We had one early trade, and up until Monday, we had very little going on the NBA deadline front, but it has quickly escalated. And the team that has been doing the most is the Cleveland Cavaliers, which they have leveled up their backcourt. Cleveland Cavaliers have been having a disappointing season. The last few years just hasn't gone how they have wanted. We saw last year they had a great record, but as a lot of people thought, they didn't think they were for real. They had a great record, but in the playoffs they came up short, and they just didn't look like contenders. This year, out the gate, they have started slow. So what were they going to do with that? With multiple years, with Donovan Mitchell, who they heavily invested in, with them being over the second apron, and in the next few years being slated to be over the second apron. What were they going to do to fix this? And it seems through two trades so far, they have made some big changes, and some of those changes is for play, and some of it is for finances. So we're gonna just kind of look at what they did in those two trades. Well, they gave up DeAndre Hunter, a very good bench piece. They got him from Atlanta. A kind of like a prolific scorer. So they kind of gave up the scoring of DeAndre Hunter to the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings, very big question marks on this trade. DeAndre Hunter went to Sacramento. Dennis Schroeder, capable backup point guard, just doesn't quite do well as a starting point guard. Dennis Schroeder comes over to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and okay, so that's a very high level backup. And in the second part of the trade, Keon Ellis. So Keon Ellis is kind of been the last couple of years. A lot of teams have wanted Keon Ellis. Very good defender. Also a good shooter. At times, a lot of people thought he should have been a starter, but continually being put in the role of a backup. It seemed like a very frustrating position for him to be in, especially before free agency. You want to, get as many minutes as you can, so that when you hit free agency, you can get the most money. So he was definitely frustrated in Sacramento over the last 2 years, leading into free agency. So you get Keon Ellis, who a lot of people have had eyes on, at times offering first round picks. But in this trade, Sacramento got no first round picks. They got DeAndre Hunter. I'm really miffed at that with the Sacramento Kings. You basically gave a very capable backup. You paid a little bit too much. Keon Ellis, who's everybody wanted, and you received no first round picks. You received no second round picks. You just got DeAndre Hunter, another player with a pretty high salary. It's kind of mid. Um, Chicago Bulls, they actually pulled a couple second round picks in this trade. They didn't give him any players. They took on the salary of Dario Saric. So the Bulls extracted draft assets. Sacramento didn't. So at this point, you had Derek Garland. Just very disappointing. Just can't find his traction this year with the team. Fall short in the last few years in the playoffs, and you got a very capable backup who's probably on his level, except for shooting. And at that point, you had Keon Ellis, who at that point, when you look at their roster, would not start, would be a backup. So that was very, very interesting at the time. But the next day, we've seen the big trade. Darius Garland to the Clippers. And they actually got James Harden back. So a much higher scorer. One of the best assist men in the league. And they also extracted a second round pick. So is that a huge win? Well, when you look at roster construction, I'm not sure how that's going to fit, because James Harden famously says, "I'm not part of the system. I am the system." But you have Donovan Mitchell, who likes to hold on to the basketball as well. And it seems that Donovan Mitchell said he had been pushing for this trade. One issue with Donovan Mitchell is that, prior to last year where he got a lot more help, he's been doing a lot of heavy lifting, especially in the playoffs. So he's been coming up big, but the players around him haven't. So getting James Harden, who's a prolific scorer, prolific assist person, may have appeal to him that has someone who can contribute more. However, James Harden is famously known for coming up short in the playoffs. So you got someone who's known for contributing, but comes up short in the playoffs. So it isn't really the proven playoff talent I thought they really should be targeting. We'll kind of look at the numbers and see, where this puts him. So let's look in here. So what they did is they kind of cleaned up their books a little, because the long-term salary they got shorter salary. I just don't know what they're particularly going to do with Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis is on the last year of his deal, $2.3 million. That has made him very attractive to a lot of teams. Keon Ellis, as a two-way player, is a premium in the league. So I really wonder if they're going to extend him long-term, or if this is just a rental for Cleveland. Because basically, in this Donovan Mitchell era, they have been completely disappointed. So perhaps at the cheap price that they acquired him, Keon Ellis may actually be just a rental. They want to get further than the second round. For how much they invested in this team, for how much talent is on this team is very disappointing. So James Harden, $39 million, which is very close to Garland. But next year he has a player option. So most people's assumption, hey, he's just gonna pick up his player option. I wouldn't assume that. What I think he's gonna do is that he's gonna leverage leverage his next year's salary to get an extension. So instead of me opting in for 1 year for 42 million, I'll kind of give you a discount. And if you sign me for 2 years, 80 million, I'll rip up the contract. You'll save just a little bit this year, and you'll give me a 2 year contract. The way the NBA works, when you're a much older player, I guess once you hit 36, they don't allow you to sign long deals, because what teams would do to circumvent, if you allowed them to sign long deals, a lot of players just, hey, just give me a 5 year 20 million instead of giving me 2 years at what I'm worth, where they get paid longer. And it would be kind of circumventing the cap. So NBA kind of looks out for people doing little shady financial things. So they don't allow older players to sign really long contracts. So what they've done, where they're clearly over the second apron. And let me show that where that is. So they are 13 million over the second apron this year. Next year, they look like they're going to be 10 million over the second apron. Now they have a plethora of guards. What I think they're going to do next, Lonzo Ball, where they have a team option for him for next year, 10 million. They could simply, hey, Lonzo Ball, don't come back, and save $10 million. But what I think they will do is they're going to try to trade Lonzo Ball this year, hopefully for another expiring deal. But in the meantime, improve their front court. So take that talent, improve the front court, or combine his salary with another player to get something they need. I don't think they want to be over the second apron next year. That's just my thoughts. Okay, let me see. Let's just talk a little bit about what else is going on besides the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers may have more moves, but as we know, a lot of people who join in this channel want to talk about the Knicks. And one of the things about this deadline is Yabusele. And right now, Yabusele, teams just aren't biting. Teams don't want to take his second year at $5.5 million. He has been a big disappointment. We even see let me bring this up. So Yabusele had an interview in French. So I'm going to mute it so you don't even have to see it, but you can see the words. And this is what he says. So he says the rumors drive you crazy. Try not to focus on it. He saw the interest from other teams in Europe who were interested in him, and they were not only interested in him for this season, for next season, they were interested in him this season. So there's a very real possibility that Yabu could leave the NBA mid-season and go to Europe because he wants to play. He's 30 years old. So if he leaves in the middle of the season and the team just lets him out Of course, they would have to pay his salary, but what he could do is ask for a buyout. So not only this team not responsible for next year, if he says, "Hey, I'll give you $1 million back this year, just to leave now," he can do that with the team. Will he do that with the Knicks? That doesn't really help the Knicks this year, saving $1 million. But for another team that was who wanted him for cap relief for next year, that they didn't want to get the next year in there, that could be enough. That could be say, hey, he's as good as an expiring deal, but not only that, I might get money back this year. If I didn't intend to actually play him, if I just wanted the cap relief, this may be attractive. So I'm really looking at will Leon Rose leverage this? Could he get Yabusele to agree that he's going to leave early and that he will accept the buyout from the team that he trades into? If that happens, these trades that the Knicks have not been able to get done because Yabusele's second year may actually happen. One team we know was Phoenix. Like Phoenix wouldn't mind taking Yabusele, but they don't want to take his second year. So that's something to look into. I was really hoping that Yabusele was going to be a big addition this year, but it just hasn't happened. Names that we've heard in return for Yabusele, we've heard that they talked to Phoenix about Nick Richards. We know they've approached San Antonio about Sohan. We know we've heard them approach the Pelicans about Alvarado and Yves Missi. So let's see. We'll know in the next day or so if this is a thing. But even if it isn't a thing, the Knicks could save on Yabusele for next year, and that's money that we can use to try to save a player from being traded. That's money we can have to make sure that we don't go over the second apron if we don't have everything that we want. There are so many different rumors going around right now. We're hearing rumors about, Triple J got traded yesterday. And with that trade with the Utah Jazz, Ja Morant's future in Memphis looks like it's over. They're not looking to win. Ja has been kind of on the outs, and they're gonna circle around the young guys. Edie, Cedric Coward is who they're gonna go. That's their future. So what's gonna happen with Ja? How can they get Ja out the door? Looks like they are looking to drop the asking price for Ja Morant. Before, they were asking for young talent. They were asking for picks. It may go down where Ja Morant is going to go for Trae Young numbers. We're just matching salary. We'll get him out the door. There's a rumored deal in place already with Miami. So if Miami can get Giannis, they're going to execute a trade for Ja Morant. And that's their way to be relevant right now. Yep. Oh, salute Bodega Wi-Fi. Yep. Cap Guru, thank you. One day, I'm gonna be the legit Cap Guru. Just Knicks says salute. Salute just Knicks. And we have, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but he has some words about Yabu. Yabu was a bum in Philly, and he's a bum on the Knicks. He's definitely a EuroLeague player. So, yeah, just the way he's been talking in these interviews, it looks like he's talks about how, the NBA doesn't want him, and he's gonna cross that bridge when it comes to it with the EuroLeague. So he's really not looking. He really doesn't look like the NBA is like a long-term thing. Just where he's at, because he just hasn't been performing. He hasn't looked good. Isn't that shots just aren't falling? He just looks bad. He looks a step slow, and the performance that he gave in over the summer overseas, he's gonna be wanted. Just Nick says, who is someone realistic for the Knicks? Well, it doesn't look like the Knicks are going big or going home, but looks like they still are talking to the Milwaukee Bucks about Giannis. But most of the rumors I've heard over the last day are about the Miami Heat and how the Miami Heat may be very close in getting a deal done. I think the Knicks will get a Yabu trade done regardless. What I really think they did is I think they probably have a safety trade. Like, if all else fails, we have a trade for Yabu to go out. But it's probably not what they want. They want a third center. Like, Huck Porty, very athletic. He shows flashes, but consistency isn't there. Like, he's not going to give it to you every night. Some nights he looks like he just wants to foul out. Some nights he's just blocking everything in sight. It's just, but the consistency isn't there. If the worst happened and Cat got injured and he was like the main backup, he would not do well. Like, the Knicks would be putting Josh Hart. It would be very bad. Like, you cannot. Maybe where he's at, he's fine. But if something bad happened, it wouldn't be good. So, Yves Missi, definitely someone on the Knicks radar. Jose Alvarado, definitely on the Knicks radar. But Pelicans have a market for Yves Missi, and they have been asking for a first round pick. Just because, they got the market. Like, people are asking about him. So they probably are just going to ask for a first round pick, and then at the last minute, try to see if they'll, drop the price. But right now, that price is pretty high. Yeah, that's pretty much all I want to jump on right now. So I just wanted to pretty much talk about the Cavaliers. Okay. NBA buyout candidates. I want to have like an all Knicks broadcast a little later today. So what we'll do is we'll do that. But one thing about the Knicks on the buyout candidates, if you're a first apron team or you're a second apron team, you cannot sign anyone whose last contract was over the mid-level exception. So a lot of people are talking about all these players. Slow-mo might get bought out. A lot of people are talking about DeMar DeRozan might be bought out. Slow-mo's under mid-level exception. That's fine. DeMar DeRozan makes $20-something million over mid-level exception. The Knicks would not be able to sign DeMar DeRozan no matter what. Also, if the Knicks are to sign a player like that, what they would need to do is they need to create salary. So they have to trade a player they have to create a gap enough to sign that player, or they need to trade a player with picks and get no player back. So you're looking at taking a Tyler Kolek, a Jordan Clarkson, trading them to another team. Hey, can we get cash considerations? Or, hey, can I get a second round pick? And then with that slot, going out and signing a player who has been cut. But that trade has to happen now. Like, that trade can't happen later. So that's kind of leaping before you know what's there, unless you know someone is going to be cut. Like, you're kind of leaping before you know what's going to be in that spot. But the way that agents talk between themselves, the way GMs talk to between themselves, they may have a good idea who may be out there. So, I really thank everybody for joining me today. Please hit the like button. We're trying to really grow the channel, and that's one of the ways to do it. If you want to support through Cash App, you can definitely do that. But likes, that's what really will help the channel. Please subscribe. I will be on later. We will have a Knicks-centric talk about the Knicks deadline, and I will catch you next time on the NBA Economy Show.